All right. I think we're at 2:15, so why don't we get started?
Sounds great. Thank
All right.
you.
Hey, everybody. Thanks for joining this session, Removing Student Onboarding Barriers with VCCS and Stephanie. We're so excited to welcome you all to the third Higher Ed Dreamin' 2024 conference. So far, there's been a lot of energy and engagement from the community. So that's been pretty exciting to see all the chats and all the conversation. And it also looks like everyone's having a really fun time. So that's fantastic. But we're here. We're excited to have Stephanie English from Virginia's Community College with us today. I'm going to introduce her and then turn it over and hear all her exciting insights. Stephanie brings over 8 years of experience with VCCS, including the last 2 in the ITS department, where she leads a talented team of business analysts supporting enterprise applications. For the past 18 months, she's been at the helm of an exciting project, implementing Salesforce for student onboarding. So today, Stephanie will share her insights on removing barriers to onboarding, making it easier for students to connect and succeed. So give her a round welcoming applause and lots of confetti, and join me in welcoming Stephanie English.
Thank you, Vicki. I will jump right in. As Vicki mentioned, we've spent about the last 18 months implementing Salesforce. We are in an enterprise model with 18 of our 23 colleges. And so I'm going to sum up 18 months in 20 minutes. So I'll jump right in. Some of the things that we're going to talk through today is really understanding the use case at the VCCS and why we started this journey to begin with. The model that we have, as I mentioned, is a hub and spoke system design. So we'll talk through that at a high level, as well as our common data model and some success measurements that we've started to review. A little bit about the VCCS so that you understand who we are. The Virginia Community College System is made up of 23 community colleges with over 40 campuses. Each college is independently accredited and really serves as their own business unit or entity. As part of our strategic plan several years ago, we wanted to make our colleges feel more like a system. We are a community college system, and we wanted to act as such and create an onboarding experience for our students that looked and felt the same as they were going through the process of onboarding at any of our 23 colleges. As we embarked on that journey, we needed to really step back and look at onboarding overall. So we put together a task force that made some recommendations intended to remove those onboarding barriers. We wanted to expedite our enrollment process and really hold hands and walk the student to the finish line, assisting them in navigating the steps required to explore our programs, enroll in class, and of course, make sure that they have payment for those classes. The goals for this project were to create that one door for all students, credit and non-credit, and really make sure that, again, we look and feel like one true community college system experience. That meant we had to make a lot of changes. And I heard in one of the sessions earlier that every college feels like they are unique and they do something different. And we had quite a bit of that within the VCCS, even with our request for information forms and the way our websites are designed. We really had to look at all of those processes to make sure that we could create that standard look and feel in our contact form, in the screens that we would use in the Salesforce system, even the terms, what we were calling term activation and some of our other processes were very different at some of our colleges. Ultimately, what we want to do is improve our student recruitment and course enrollment. And so getting to that bottom line and helping everyone to understand and really see the student success as our big picture was one of our main goals. And we wanted to use data to drive those decisions. I mentioned explore, enroll, pay earlier. These are the pillars, if you will, of building the Salesforce system. So helping the student through that request for information form so that they can explore our programs, ultimately through to the application process, and then to payment. As we began to solution the onboarding redesign project, we made the decision that we would implement in a hub and spoke model. So as a community college system, it was important to us to be able to see that data at the system level. So all of our system data lives in our Salesforce hub, and each of our community colleges, there are 18 as part of this enterprise solution. Each of those respective community colleges has a spoke within this design, and I'll show you a graphic of that hub and spoke model in just a moment. So we're using the hub and spoke design in Service Cloud on an EDA architecture model. And we also downstream have Marketing Cloud. For each of those 18 college-specific orgs, we built our request for information form on cloud pages, and we've gotten Journey Builder up and going for our colleges to do their outreach. I like to affectionately refer to this as spaghetti, but this is our common data model, and it's not important for you to see all of this information. The main point here is for you to understand that in order to be successful in this project, we had to bring in a lot of data. We really wanted our colleges to be able to see and speak to the information that was happening in our ERP, and so we had to bring that data in. We have a separate system for applications, and so we had to bring in our application data. So in our common data model, all 18 colleges have access to each of these objects in Salesforce. And this is the hub and spoke model that I referenced just a moment ago. So you can see in the upper left, we've got our PeopleSoft ERP or student information system coming in. Zap is the tool that we use for applications. So we're bringing in external data from our Zap application system. And then Modern Campus or WES is our workforce system. So we have external integrations built from those three systems coming into that central or system office hub organization. Then our respective spokes, you see some of these spokes have an additional downstream spoke. We had 6 colleges that are part of this enterprise solution that were already using some form of Salesforce, whether it was for ticketing or onboarding student success. They had a Salesforce database that we had to bring into our common data model. We went live with 6 of these colleges back in June, and we are in the process of going live with the remaining 12. So 3 of our second wave of colleges have already gone live, and between now and the second week of December, we will get in the remaining 9. So all 18 of our colleges participating in this enterprise solution will be live before we go out on holiday break. Downstream, if you will, from our central hub org is Navigate, EAB Navigate, which is our student success system, and then Marketing Cloud. So we have both external integrations coming in and then integrations going out to those 2 systems. The impact and overall goal that we were trying to focus on as we move throughout this project is being able to know where a student is in the process, removing those barriers, figuring out what was halting a student in the process, what we could make better for them, and really driving to solution those while searching for consistency amongst our colleges. So several of the things that this included was simplifying that explore process. We had over 70 variations of our request for information form. This goes back to each college wanting to be individual and doing things just a bit different. We have been able to get that down to consistent request for information forms across all of our colleges going into Salesforce. We're using that cloud page to bring in the information from that request for information into an inquiry in Salesforce. Again, credit versus non-credit. As we began to explore the onboarding process, there were completely separate processes in place for credit versus non-credit. And we wanted those students to have a consistent experience, regardless of whether they were in a credit program or a non-credit program. So we are now treating all credit, non-credit students the same when it comes to onboarding. They are unified in one system. The common data model is the same for all of those contacts. That really creates that holistic student support. Our navigator or coach team are able to go in and see what is the next step for this student, regardless of if they are credit or non-credit. Improving the recruitment and onboarding process, that's what it's all about. I really challenge the team to always be looking at how whatever change they want to make will enhance the student recruitment and enrollment process. And then having data. There were lots of passionate opinions as we were going through this project, things that folks wanted to see, but not a lot of data behind them. And so we're really looking to make our decisions based on data from the system. Our common data model allows us to look at those key performance indicators across the system and see what one college may be doing better than another college and how we can, again, drive for consistency across the system to help. I saw somebody comment earlier about we should not be competing with our own college. And in many cases across our system, we are seeing that internal competition. I'm a competitive individual. We were talking football earlier. I appreciate the competition, but we shouldn't be competing with ourselves. In our system, we want to use the data to help us make decisions and really improve the onboarding experience for our students. I mentioned a couple of these stats just a few moments ago, but I'll run through them again. 6 colleges in our Wave 1 went live with the CRM and Marketing Cloud back in June. They've given us really good feedback. We were able to make some enhancements to our common data model as we moved into our Wave 2 colleges. 3 of those Wave 2 colleges went live in the month of October, and we've got 9 additional colleges that will be joining between now and December for a total of 12 additional colleges on by the end of the year. We also have a governance model in place. So we've got representation from all of our Salesforce colleges in a governance group that's helping us to prioritize system enhancements and additional use cases. In addition to onboarding, we've been discussing several other use cases in the system. We're driving for a one system model. So rather than each of our community colleges using a different tool, we want to get as much as we possibly can in the same system. And we already have Salesforce, which has great capabilities. So we're looking to enhance the use case beyond onboarding. That is it for me, Vicki. I would love to hear questions that you guys might have.
That is great. Thank you, Stephanie. Wow, that is a huge undertaking. 23 colleges or 40 campuses or something like that. It's coming from Cornell, where we have, colleges that are on the single campus. And I think that we have a lot going on. That just seemed, when I saw your diagrams, and I'm sure we all can relate to the spaghetti diagram. We all have our own versions of that spider web. But wow, that you have a huge undertaking. It sounds like it's very successful right now. But we do have a couple of questions. And so I'll start with, let's see, how do I do this? Let's see, highlight message. There we go. So Kathy Zimmerman, one of our HEAC council members, she's asking 18 Marketing Cloud business units. So each VCCS institution has their own Marketing Cloud experts. No overarching communications are done.
That's a great question, Kathy. As of right now, yes. So each of our colleges had their own marketing team. In some situations, their admissions team was really serving as marketing. And so we have those 18 orgs in Marketing Cloud, each of which are running their own journeys. Out of the gate, we've allowed them to really critique those journeys and make them fit their current processes. We are in discussions with our central or system office marketing team to discuss a central communication group. As I mentioned in the very beginning, right now things are still done very individually by college, and so we're not quite where we would like to be with having a consistent message that could go out broadly to students, but that is definitely the goal as we continue to tear down some of those barriers even between our colleges. We are looking to go in a central marketing direction with some of that messaging.
Great. And just in case I missed it, that's one Marketing Cloud org, but with multiple business units, correct?
Yes.
Yeah, good. We've got Jim Gilbert with several of the public institutions in Virginia also using Salesforce. Are there any considerations of linkages to support students exploring guaranteed admissions agreements?
I love this question, Jim. If I were the decision maker on that, we'd be doing it today. We are in conversation about where we can do that. I mentioned we're using Zap as our application tool. Over the last 8-10 months as we've been testing, I cannot tell you how many Rainbow Brights and Mickey Mouses I have had to submit applications for in our application tool. Because we are an open application, I would love to have a guaranteed admissions agreement, and even possibly partner with some of our high schools to automatically admit those students rather than having them have to complete an application. Even within our system, if I want to apply to Virginia Western Community College and Central Virginia Community College, that means I have to go through that application process twice. That is obviously a barrier. It is not a 2-question application. Some of our colleges have 7 to 10 pages of application information that they're asking. So that is a great question and a place that we'd like to get to in the future.
Great. I wasn't totally clear on what the question was, so I'm glad that you explained it. Whitney Edmister is asking, are you still using the PeopleSoft academic advising for degree planning?
We are. Today, we are still using PeopleSoft. We are bringing in some of that degree planning information into Salesforce, as well as out to EAB Navigate, our student success system. And we haven't had much discussion about changing that. There are lots of ideas on the table right now. So simple answer is yes, right now we are.
Great. And then we've got one last one before we have to wrap up. Jamie Moran, how is your Salesforce support team organized, and what was the implementation team organized?
Great question, Jamie. And I love to wrap up on this one. This is not advice you'd want to take from me. Our support team is way too thin right now. We're really good at buying things, not so great at making a plan to support them long term. I do have one CRM business analyst that's dedicated to Salesforce and will be long term. We also have a strategics operation person who is dedicated to the Salesforce project, myself included. We've had a team of 3 for the last 18 months. We are full-time. There are some part-time folks helping to build the integration and making sure that our external integration sources, the information is mapped properly. We also have vendor partners. We have Kennedy and Company as our vendor partner on the CRM side, and Off-Prem as our vendor partner on the marketing cloud side. So a lot of our heavy lift has been with them setting up the system over the course of the last year and a half, but moving forward and into support mode, we are definitely reviewing the number of folks that we have dedicated to this. As of right now, each college does not have a Salesforce admin. We are retaining that for them for the first year or so of the project. And so long term, we hope to move some of that responsibility out to the colleges.
Wow. Not only do you have a big undertaking with this project, but you're doing it on a very slim support model. That is impressive, Stephanie. Well, thank you for sharing all your insights. Everybody, next up are the round 3 sessions. They're starting at 2:40. So you've got a 5-minute break. And thank you all for attending.
Thanks for having me. Have a great day.
All right. Bye-bye.
Bye.